Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar today with me and with Thiago. I am Fabio Rosa, the CEO and co-founder of TagoIO. I'm glad to be here to talk about the concept of TagoIO, what we call TagoIO 101, where Thiago is going to show step-by-step how to build dashboards, how to use the key features of TagoIO. If you start with Tago, really hope that that's going to help you a lot. We are recording this presentation, so we're going to send the link to you later and make this video available in our website. Also, we have our chat open, so feel free to say hi and make your questions. We'll have the Q&A session at the end, but you'll be glad to try to answer your question during the presentation if possible. So let's start. So the agenda, straightforward. Let's talk about the TagoIO concepts. What's Tago, how the components are put together. Then we'll talk about the features, key models. And then I believe the most interesting part, where Thiago is going to do a demo, live presentation showing how to build a solution. And we are going to have our Q&A session at the end. So a little bit about Tago. So TagoIO is the end-to-end IoT platform that's transforming the business by creating value from connected products. So basically, we created this platform and we make available for everyone to build their solution and have a solution at the end of the day that will be plug and play for their customers. So we have more than 10,000 accounts, developers accounts today. We're more than 100 countries. We have hundreds of certified devices ready to go, but you can always add your own device. And we are not here without the support of our partners. So we have more than 90 official partners in our website that you can find today if you go to tago.io/partners. So we have great partners that have been helping us and that have been working for them to help them in the connectivity space, and work with system integrators, also work with hardware developers and developers. So a little bit about our ecosystem. So basically, if you get the ecosystem of IoT and try to understand where TagoIO is located, so basically you can see from this picture here. So we start from the left, you have the end devices. These are the sensors that are going to send the information to the cloud. But normally you need something in the middle. If you're going to be using LoRaWAN, for example, you need the gateways. Okay, if you need to connect through Wi-Fi, you need a router or something, right? So you can see that Tago is where we allow people, developers, to build the application on top of it. We have been working very hard with the network providers. Okay, so you can see a list here of some networkers like LoRaWAN, Sigfox, or NB-IoT, or any other kind of connectivity. So that it will be easier for anyone to come here and connect their device using our network. And Thiago is going to show you later how to do that. Then on the right side, we have integration. You can get information from the sensor from the left side and combine with the information from your company, for example, or you can push the data to your CRM, ERP system by using some of our connectors. TagoIO is for developers. If you don't have any knowledge of programming, of course, you can go there, create the dashboards, you can connect your sensor. That's pretty straightforward. But as you scale, you need to have more skills or help from system integrators or developers to gain and be able to extract all the advantage that the Tago offers. By the way, it's a lot of things. And then you can see on the bottom that you have a RUN. Tago RUN is where your end users will access your platform, because at the end of the day, that's what you want. that they access your platform and not TagoIO. So key components. So basically we have 6 components. Inside of TagoIO, we have device management. So that you have the certificate, tokens for the device. You can control which device you access your account. We have data storage. You can keep the data on Tago. You can define for how long you want to keep the data. You can export this data to your own database locally or in the cloud. And then you have the analysis. That's where you can create scripts that are going to generate reports, that are going to send the data to another server, that you're going to be able to send a notification and so on, basically anything. If you need to add machine learning, AI, you can do this here inside the analysis. Of course, you have the dashboards. That's one part, very important, visualization. So you can build your blocks using what you call widgets for visualization. You can also create your own widget. And then we go beyond IoT by giving you tools to manage access, users, and of course, also the white labeling. So there are basically a few steps or phases in the project. First, you need to build your application. So you can go to TagoIO, create your free account, start right now, can connect up to 5 devices, create up to 5 dashboards. And there is where we're gonna be able to manage the device, create the rules to store the data, create analysis, push notifications, and so on. And then you want to get your solution and make accessible for others to see. Of course, they can go to Tago, you can share with them as well, but normally you're going to do this by using Tago Run. There is where we're going to define the rules about what you'll be able to access, you'll be able to see how they are working with, and you can create your own domain and add your brand. Then that's the part I talk about, brand your solution. So at the end of the day, your users, that can be inside of our company or external users, customers, partners, they don't go to admin.tago.io, they go to your portal. If you have our account, you are able to use our subdomain at no cost, or you can change everything, remove our brand, and then they can access your old portal. You can customize emails, you can change the colors, add the logo for the company, favicon, link to other pages, and so on. So there are a lot of features. You're going to see these in a couple of minutes from now. Of course, a lot of people expect to have the gauge, the charts, the maybe videos, displays in the IoT platform, what makes sense, but we go beyond that. We allow anyone to, for example, generate reports. In this case, is a real picture here of a PDF report that is generated when you press a button using the analysis. Also, we have the forms, that's a type of a widget that allows you to capture input from the user. For example, you can ask them to enter their name or the name of the product, or take a picture, scan with a QR code or barcode or anything. So that's really very, very cool. Just a little bit about the sensors. So this is just a sample of the sensors that already connect our Tago. By connect, I mean each sensor has a certain protocol, right? That is not really standard for the sensor. And that's fine because the Tago can understand that. You just need to create what you call a parser in case the sensor is not here. So we have a lot of sensors from our partners because we don't sell the sensor, we don't manufacture sensor, but our partners do that. So for example, you can see sensor from LoRaWAN or Sigfox, cellular, Z-Wave, Zigbee, and so on, satellites. So basically, I think we're having all this kind of connectivity. I believe our customers are doing this integration somehow. So a lot of them are ready to go. Other thing that's very interesting that we released this year is the device simulator. So sometimes you go there, create your account, and you don't have the sensor right away. but you want to play with Tago and create a notification, understand how that's work, you don't need to have the sensor. Okay, you can go click and on the device simulator, add a sensor. We have a couple of them there that simulate in real time temperature of a freezer. Another one is a bus, a truck, and so on. So these are a set of data that are sent in real time to your account. Then it's not something that's fixed. It's just the data coming. You can grab a dashboard and start from there, and then you can modify and create intelligence behind. So it's a very good point to start. There are more features that I believe are very important when talk about having your application going to the business. One is multi-language. So you basically can change all text inside of your portal, inside of the widgets, on the selections, on the message, on the email template for any language. Even if you use just English, you still can change the message. Okay, if there is a button there that say, click here, you don't like that, say, click one time here, you can do that. I will have a single sign-on and also a customer app. So our mobile app is free. If you go to App Store or Google Play, you can download Tago Run and have your application up running at no time. But if you want to remove our brand, it's also a possibility. So you can deploy on your behalf. We have a lot of widgets available, and I know that Thiago is going to show that. But you still can create your own widget. This is just one example in a farm where this field in the middle is using not our map, is using Google Maps with this heat map coming from satellite information, so on. So this is just one example. So if you have something like a 3D, a widget, or something that we don't have, you always can create a widget. You have a lot of documentation showing how to do that. Some can take a couple of hours, then you can use as you want. There is no cost for that. And the others can take more time, depending how complex your widget or your dashboard will be. But it's really very cool. Okay, so let's go to the practical side now. So Thiago, it's up to you now. So go from here and show how to put this together.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thank you, Fabio, for the presentation. Hello, everyone. Like Fabio said, my name is Thiago. I am the Customer Success Manager here at TagoIO. Some of you already know me. Some of you have already received the email from me. And to those who I don't know, pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to be here as a CSM. I think it's important for me and part of my responsibility to be showing you some of the key features by talking to a lot of customers and doing plenty of demonstrations. I know some aspects that some people are in doubt and they need to know and they get confused. So we're going to cover that as well. So to get started, for those who are not familiar yet, this is the admin of TagoIO. So once you come and sign up for a free account on Tago, this is going to be your admin page. So this is going to be your landing page where you start and where you're going to build your applications. You don't see any dashboards here right now, but there are definitely dashboards in this admin. I'm going to show you why they are here and explain the reason for that. So going over some key features so you can fill the app. We have here devices. So here it's where you're going to create a device, add the device, and manage it. You're going to find the emulator here, the payload parser, live inspector. We're going to go through that as well. Buckets is where all your information lands and where your data is stored, where you can control data retention to your devices. So all the information that is sent. Files, if you need to upload pictures, videos, PDFs, anything onto your application that you want to use to customize it, or you want it to be displayed later, you can send your archives into files. Analysis, actions. So this is where the intelligence runs. I have set a couple different demonstrations on actions and analysis. So we actually see it in action. Explore. So what we're gonna do today as well is we're gonna get one of these to work. I already have freezer simulator working, but we can do the same thing with maybe industrial automation or refrigerator truck simulator. We can do either or of the devices that are here. And at the same time we do that, we're going to be able to create a device. We're going to see where the data goes, and when it creates a bucket, we're going to be placing this dashboard on the Tago run. And we're going to talk about also access and users, where I have created already 3 policies here as an example. And also on the user side, I have created here 3 users, so you can see the different levels of permission. I have separated and categorized them through tags. So position admin, position manager, position user, company, TagoIO for 3 of them. So this is a way that we can separate the users and decide what am I going to show who has the right to see each part of my application. And then another key features that I like to show as well is profiles. So inside TagoIO, you have different profiles. You could have different profiles on your account. When you create, for example, a starter account, you'll have one profile, or a free account, you'll have one profile under it. So once you jump on to upgrade to a starter account, you can have multiple profiles under it. So what this means, does it mean different users? Not really. So what the profile does is it separates for example, a subdomain of your company into another categorization. For example, if I have here a situation when I have a customer that is Pepsi, another customer that is Coca-Cola, I don't want to mix those 2 guys together, because Pepsi is probably going to have their own white label, their own database, and same thing with Pepsi. They don't want to get mixed up. So this is a scenario where they have their white label, they have their application, and they like to keep things separate. If the customer doesn't mind to stay under your own white label and your own custom domain, you could always give them permission here on your user management so they can access your account. Another thing that people ask me a lot as well is sometimes you're the CEO of the company and you have the developers under you, and the account is under your name. So how do you grant developer access to your account? So this is done through here, guys. So you go to here to your drop down menu and you go to profiles. And then what you want to do is you want to share this profile with the person that's going to be having access to it. So this is going to give the person permission to come here and check your application out, just like as you were seeing here. The only thing that when you share a profile, the person won't have permission with is going to be to generate account token and some high level credentials that only you have as the owner of the account, such as billing and all. And inside here of your admin platform as well, you can check here that you have a link to go to billing. That's gonna go right under here. The documentation, you can go directly to TagoIO documentation. I'm gonna do a quick run through the documentation to see how rich it is. And always when you open the ticket, always recommend the customers on my demos open through your admin, so you know exactly who is opening, who's the owner of the account, so it can give you a genuine support community. So this is a very powerful tool as well, because here you have developer to developer action. I'm gonna search for an example in the community as well. But once you have a very technical question, and I'm here, I'm your CSM, so I'm gonna be helping you with as far as I can go. But because of my role, I am limited to certain technical aspects of the platform that only the developers might be able to help you with. So this is the place where you're going to go and ask, how do I connect an API, or how this works or that works? So the community is the way to go. GitHub, so you can check all the documentation on the API, SDK, anything that you're trying to add. This is going to bring you to TagoIO's GitHub. And the status page, which is something that I'm going to show also inside my application, together here with the change log. So when you see here admin and API version on the bottom, you can also see what is the release ID. And once you click on it, this is going to bring you to the change log with all the bug fixes, all the updates, and so you can stay on track. And once you do that, by the way, so you don't come here and click all the time, so you can stay posted, you can also register yourself either on status or on changelog. Sign in with your email, with SMS. Whenever there's something weird going on, you're gonna get an email about the service. Oh, or you're waiting on a bug fix and you don't want to be checking all the time with the support. Is that ready? Is this ready? You can just receive an email from the changelog whenever something is done, whenever a situation that you're waiting for to be answered, and you can do so by signing up by email here. Okay, so inside the profiles, you can also feature some of the data controls. Sometimes because it comes with the standard of amount of data transactions, data output analysis. This you can also find on our website, so you can have a clue of how much it's going to cost for you to maintain a profile, for example. So we're going to have 1 million transactions a month, but that's not going to be enough. So what do I do, Thiago? So you come here, you go to your profile. Let's say you have a starter account. I need 10 million transactions. One won't do, or I need 3 million. Same thing here with data storage, SMS, email, and analysis. You can control these as you go. You're going to be, let's say you are at, for example, if I reach 9,900,000 transactions here. So am I going to be blocked right away? No, you're going to be receiving emails to let you know that your usage is almost there for you to either set input management on your device. Same thing here with data storage. So talked about that. I also wanted to jump on this key here, which is the dictionary. Dictionaries are what Fabio mentioned. It's a multi-language platform. So if you live in a country like Canada, for example, where you speak English and French, and there are two main languages at the same time. So this is an opportunity to take advantage of the dictionary so you can have both of them on the platform as well. And once you sign up for a free account, guys, you also have the ability to come here at the quick start option. And the quick start, it's pretty much going to go through with you on some of the aspects that I'm going to show you today. But it's really worth it to come here if you're brand new to Tago. Take the quick start. It's going to show you a lot. Pretty sure you're going to have a good feedback out of it. And with no further ado, I'm gonna start now by adding one of the demonstration, the simulators here. Let's do, because I already have the freezer simulator, I'm gonna do the bus simulator. So I'm gonna give my device a name. So I'm gonna do a bus tracker here. And then I'm going to select the bus 1, bus 2, and what's the unit type. So I'm going to leave in miles per hour. And let me close this right here. Okay. Create my device. Great, all done. So now I continue. Now that I created the device, I need to create a dashboard template. So get the dashboard template in here. I'll install my template, and now I'll attach that device, bus tracker, to my template, and I'm going to confirm associations. Takes a couple instances for the data to arrive, but now you see in a few steps, I already have an example of dashboard here, all mounted and ready to go. And while my analysis sends data, I'm going to be showing what happened here when I created this device. So it created my bus tracker with the connector bus simulator with the network simulator. But how would it work in terms of if I already have a device, if I already have, for example, a LoRaWAN Helium network? So I come here and I know that my device is a humidity device. So I type here humidity, and I can see that my device is, for example, right here. It's the Dragino LHT65. So I give my device a name. I can scan the QR code. I think that's fairly easier, or type the UI here and create my device. In this case, because we already have this device with Helium here and the connector is ready, you won't have to use, for example, a parser. But that's not a problem, because you can also come here and you can create your own connector, right? You can either get to this page through the devices, or you can also come here on the right side and integrations. So you can create your connector and your network. Once that is done, you go to your device, you have your payload parser here, and your live inspector to check if the data is coming in correctly. So right now, showing a little bit inside the device menu. So what we have over here, Emulator. So this is where we're gonna send different data, for example, to my map. So I'm gonna be showing my map to you guys in a couple instances, so you'll understand why is this format. So this is an adjacent payload. Why did I do this? It's because I currently don't have a device sending my location, but what I can do is I can simulate this information, and this is the format that I use. So when I log in into my platform here, you'll see that it on the drop down on my map, I'm going to show a pen showing all these in correct order, just like you see over here. And my live inspector, of course, is going to monitor that data as it arrives. So nothing yet, waiting for data to arrive. If I come here to my emulator and I send this payload and I save it, I go back to my live inspector and he's going to catch all that here in the format that I sent it. And he's going to post on my dashboard. And another cool feature that I'm going to explain it as well, for example, to use one of the widgets that I have there on my dashboard, I have to group my devices by tag. And what I did is I created a key group in a value webinar. In this case, when I pulled all my info over there, all my devices will be grouped. And I don't have to select one by one. I can just select one tag with all my devices inside it. So this is a feature that I'm going to show it as well here on the permissions and access. Talked about that. Where do my data goes and how long can I retain it for? Well, you can leave as far as if you have, it depends on how much data you have signed up for, but the standard is forever. But let's say, but Thiago, I don't need that. I don't need my data to be there forever. It's going to consume a lot of data storage. So what do I do? So you come here and you hit set, for example, for a week or month or quarter, but I'm going to lose my data. So is there any steps that I can do to retrieve my data later? Well, there's a feature that we have that's called stream data. I'm not going to go through it right now, but if you go to the documentation in the community, there's more instructions there to show you how you can stream your data and export your data. Also to set an action schedule action that's going to trigger every 29 days, and it can trigger an analysis, for example, to export your data. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about that too. So files is where I update all the photos, for example, to customize my Tago run. And once you update it here, it's going to generate for a URL right here on the bottom. And you can make this file downloadable. You can rename it. You can move file to another location. You can create folders inside the file system. So this is everything that you want to use on your dashboards or your run. This is the place where it goes. So analysis, this is in my understanding, the most powerful feature on Tago right now, because this is where you're going to connect your external API. For example, you see a map here from the bus, right? And you're like, Thiago, I don't want this map. I want the map from Google Apps. So what do I do? How do I get the map from Google? So you're going to connect the API through here to the analysis. And once you create an analysis, you're going to find that inside there's some snippets ready to go to give you kind of understanding and the hang. How can you manage this, right? And the only thing that you have to do in this situation here is that you select your environment variables and you enter a variable key here and a tag value there. And then you're gonna run this code. My code sends a message, which I'm also gonna demonstrate on my Tago run. If I can run an analysis from my dashboard. So this is one of the samples that I'm going to be talking about it today. There's also other webinars, guys, showing you how to manage analysis and create action. So I strongly advise you guys to do and to watch it. So actions, what kind of action can we do? So we'll give it a name for it, and there's Then there's types of triggers. So we can trigger either by when a variable meets certain conditions, or it's when it's a resource, triggers when resources change, when you create a device, for example, or a bucket is created, or a user is created, you're gonna select resource. Schedule, is it gonna run schedule based? Like I said, every 29 days, I'm gonna export my data, or every 4 hours, I'm gonna send a message with updated values to my dashboard, or I'm gonna send an email. And then we can select from types of actions here. So we can either push a notification to myself, push notification to run users, send email, send SMS. My favorite one is run an analysis, because this is where you get the automation going. Publish to MQTT and post data to endpoint using HTTP. So this is all the types of actions that you can do, but inside running an analysis, you can do then any action that you can program to do so. So talked about actions. I'm gonna talk a little bit about my run now. I have customized a special run for this webinar that can cover, I believe that some of the most important features. So you have here on your Tago run, your main configuration. I can select a title for my run for when it deployed. It has a title and a subtitle. I can select my favicon here to be changed on the top of the screen. My logo, I can select my logo to come here on top of my sign up page, for example, right? My domain, so Fabio talked about this as well. When you have a starter account, you can already change your subdomain. So in my case here, I did webinar.run.tago.io. What happened if I had the white label? Then it could be anything you want. It could be, for example, portal.tago.io. You could create your own portal and have a call, for example, from your main website to this portal, because this is going to be, for example, your IoT portal, and so on. So navigation bar, this is where you customize some of the colors on your application bar. For example, I change here to a dark blue, the buttons to a dark gray, navigation bar is white here. The notification amount here, I changed to a light blue on the top. So this is where you start the customization. Sign up page. So this is a really cool feature here. So let's say you have just too many users to be signing in on your application. You don't want to do that by yourself, right? You want them to go there, sign themselves in, and you just confirm them in. So this is this confirmation required method, right? But it's okay. It's going to be on a closed space. It's just going to be inside a factory, for example. Anyone can come there and sign up however they like. So this is the anyone here sign up method. Disable is, it's only when you're going to choose whether to sign in somebody in or not. So they're not going to have the ability to come here and sign themselves in. You'll have to go there and sign themselves. So in my case here, someone could just come, put their first name, their last name, their email, password, and if I wanted to, they can also do their phone, for example. And I will type here a label phone. I'll select the type here number, and I'll type that phone is required or it's not required, for example. So I could add fields here as I need, right? Theme. So cool feature about my run, background. So I put a cool video of a plexus here on the background. You can see my logo right there. I can change the opacity here on my video, add like a background tint. I can change the color of my buttons, and this is really cool as well. I can change the opacity of my form, so I can make it more transparent. I can make it more solid. Just as I feel the application, I'll go modifying it. And on the background, as you see, you can add you can leave it default, add a message, a video, or a solid color. So in this case, I added a video. Pretty much just type the URL there. It brought me in the link of the video. So now I have this cool sign-in page that you see right here. This is my deployable application. So as you can see here, this is something else than your admin. This is your run. So multi-language, this is where you're gonna set up. You can edit your dictionaries here, but this is where you're gonna select the language that you want to display on your run. Sidebar. that's one of the features that I wanted to touch base about. So I'm gonna go with sign in my account. And what happens is my dashboards were all hidden in the beginning of the webinar, right? And the reason for that is because I don't want to call my dashboard through here. I want to create a button so I can add an icon to it. I can make it, it'll look fairly bigger. I could put one right next to each other, so it does look like a real upstanding application. Kind of gives a jazz to it. So I'm gonna do the same thing with the bus telemetry dashboard. So I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna configure this dashboard. What can I do here? I can change my dashboard's background. I can either leave it solid or I can add an image to it. I can add tabs. So if you come here to my welcome page, for example, you see that I can create a tab to call to Google. So this is gonna open an external link. You can also add iframe that could call another website. For example, I added here status page. I added here the documentation page from Tago because I wanted to be close. I wanted to understand it. So I added here also the changelog page so I can see all the updates from Tago, right? And inside the application, I add the freezer dashboard as I told so. So it's not appearing here, but I created a button to make it a call for it there. So what I did was I go here at more and I disable this, make this dashboard visible, and I saved it. So now it's not here, but how do I make it appear there? So I go to my run, I go to my sidebar, and I create a button right here. So let me close this guy, add it, and I'm gonna create here bus telemetry. I want it to be in a whole line, and I'm gonna add here, for example, bus. And I'm gonna add the action to open a dashboard. And I'm gonna select bus telemetry. I'm gonna save it. Tiago, is it ready to go? Not yet. So what do I have to do now to see this, to have access to this dashboard? I need to create a permission to it. So I go here to my user. Well, because I am an administrator, I can see any dashboards, right? I have created a policy for this. So my administrator policy says, I am allowed to see any devices with the rule of blueprint access. So I'm gonna see all the devices on my dashboards. And I can see and I can access and arrange any of my dashboards, right? So this is my administrator policy. But what about John Doe? He's an end user. What about Jane Doe? She's a manager. What can she see? What can they see? So if I log in, for example, as Jane Doe, as a manager, it's only gonna be showing what she's allowed to see. So I didn't allow her to see, for example, bus telemetry. Oops, authorization denied. This, for example, is a changelog page, so it's an iframe. So it's not a dashboard to separate permissions, but for example, freezer dashboard here. Oops, authorization denied. So this is how permission works. Through tags, you can create policies and categorize your users, like I said before. So position admin, I can see all the dashboards. Jane Doe, she can only see the dashboard that is designated to her, or the couple dashboards that's designated to her. And John Doe can only visualize. He cannot arrange or do anything. So that's the three permissions that I created when I deployed my run. And what can I do on my run right now? What have I set here as two cool features that I think? I created a landing page with a clock because I wanted to add this different functions here on my dash. And I also created a nice monitoring system here for me. So I add here, as you can see now, all my data, Tiago's location, the company, my role, what's the location temperature over here, my device list. So what happened here? So I can see all my devices, what's the IDs, and how do I made it up here? Did I add one by one here? No, I had one tag that grouped all these devices together. So I only had to type once. I add my devices and I assign tags to it. and only shows the devices on my tanks. Last modified by Tiago 18 hours ago. But what happened if I come here and I input, for example, 150 and the temperature? I'm gonna input my value here. My temperature sensor is gonna change it to 150. Oops. Let me refresh here my dashboard. There we go. There we go. I changed my temperature sensor to 150. And what happened now? I'm logged as Jane Doe. So the last modify by was by Jane Doe a few seconds ago. And what if I want to change, for example, how do I go? Let me go back to myself because I want to show an action displayed on the dashboard. So I'm going to come here to user. I'm going to add here Tiago, log in as this user. So now I have all the power that I need. I'm going to go to my webinar dashboard, and I'm going to change the input value here for humidity to 7.0, which is considerably high in my input field semantics. So I confirm that this temperature and humidity values are correct. I input my value, the last modified field changed. And I have here on my history that the humidity went up a little bit. It went to 7 right now. And within all these widgets right here, there's a series of widgets more that you could add. So if I go here to my dashboard list, for example, on the TagoIO IoT platform, I can add it, and I can select any one from the list here. Oh, there it goes. There's my alert right here. Humidity is too high. Lower the humidity until temperature isn't adjusted. This message won't be displayed again. So what does this mean? Right here in action. So every time that you passed a certain condition, for example, if my humidity sensor is supposed to trigger every time it reaches above 5, I'd be getting, if it's 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, I'll be getting 3 messages right there. So I have a trigger unlocked. So until this condition isn't fixed, until the humidity isn't fixed and back to normal, which I set is at 3.0, you won't be displaying this message again. So that's really good to keep it in mind as well. So as you can see, I updated my platform here. I have my bus telemetry right there, and now I can see it because I'm administrator. I can see all of them, and I can see my dashboard right here as well. And I hope I cover. I know that we're going a little bit over time, but if you guys have any questions, any concerns, please feel free to type on the Q&A. Fabio, anything else that you think we could add?
No, I think that was great, Thiago. Very good. A lot of the details. Of course, we still had no chance to go all the things, but that's great. I see a comment here, a question, in fact. What are the language that I can use it for scripts? Okay, so the scripts, if we go, for example, here on the analysis, you can select 2 runtimes when you're typing an analysis, for example, which is Node.js and Python. You can also run it externally from your computer or another server. And we also have the documentation, so you can learn more about how does the runtime works and how you can access them. Yeah. So again, summary: if you are with TagoIO, JavaScript, Node.js, and Python, right? But if you do with your own computer, server, and language. So I have customers. I remember work with this language C, C++, and other, and it works pretty well. Okay, let's see if you have any question. Let us know here. We still have a couple of minutes. We want to make sure that makes sense for you, that who is watching us here. We have a lot of people online, so we may have some questions coming. Very good. In the meantime, I wanted to show you guys also the documentation. So how
how do I learn more about actions, analysis, API, buckets? So we have everything over here. In this case, I added to my sidebar, but once you go to your admin and you go through documentation, you can find here, if I want to learn more about actions or analysis or API or buckets, right? Or if I want to send data. So I type here, for example, sending data, right? So sending data, you're going to see what's the data format like, right?
Nice.
Different examples here as well.
We have some questions here. Can you go open a new tab, TagoIO/pricing, because the question is how much is the white label plan? So, and if you can just point here because we have more questions coming.
Absolutely. All right. So aside from your plan of your choosing, once you sign up for the starter plan, you have availability to sign up for a custom domain and white label plan, which is additional $99 a month. So if you have the starter plan, for example, plus the 99, you have your total amount monthly that you'll be charging. This, like I said before, cleans all the references from Tago, and it deploys your custom domain as you're choosing as a portal from your website. As your email domain as well.
Yeah, that's important. Exactly. So what are the advantages of using connectors and network apart from payload parse instead of normal devices? So I can get this one here, I can answer. So basically, what we provide is the ability for anyone to build any kind of connector. Okay, if you are designing a new sensor that you are not aware, maybe because it's really in progress yet, it's not a public information, or maybe you don't want to sell a hardware by yourself, you don't want to make it public. We have customers like that has 50,000 sensors. They don't want to make their device public. Okay, so they created their own connector. What's very easy, very straightforward. You need just a small code normally. Of course, it depends how complex it is, but if you use LoRaWAN or Sigfox, pretty straightforward. Okay, so it's not like an advantage, one versus other. It's more like if the sensor is there, we recommend you use it. Another thing is that sometimes the sensor, the connector is there, and you want to simplify things. You want to remove some information because you don't want all the data that the ready-to-go connector is offering to you. So it gives you more ability for you. Other things that if you are using another kind of a protocol, let's say TCP/IP, UDP, you can create what you call network. Okay, you can host by yourself, or you can help you to host. Okay, I don't see another question. Yeah, so we have these, maybe I don't remember if open the community. Just 1 second. I think it'd be nice to open the community. Yeah, so yeah, the community is a good source of information, also collaboration. We have different topics category on the left side. You can even, now you have a new one that we just released, that's feature requests. So if you have a need for something that we don't have, frankly, we try to do our best to add the most important features. And of course, we don't add everything. We don't look much around. What we look is for the customers. We want to hear from customers, and we receive it from the tickets. And personally, we receive it, people see our, that we're doing something and say, hey, that would be great. Say, okay, good. So please add it there, and you take care, and at least reply, say, yeah, we can do that, or we want to do, and that's when you believe we're going to have it. Okay. Yeah, there is a question here. Do you plan to allow widget resizes mobile app in the short term? That's a very good point. We really want to revamp our mobile app. Okay, today we work with embedded. It's nice, right? Because you can see almost the same thing you see on the browser and our mobile app. What's great for one thing, and also that's a problem sometimes because you don't want to see exactly the same thing, because the mobile app should be slightly different, right? So we want to allow, I don't mean the resizing exactly, but you want to allow to have small widgets, then you click and then you can get the whole screen. So, screen showing, for example, the map on the table. So I don't know the question here, what you mean by short term, but for sure, we having a roadmap for next year to revamp our mobile app. Okay, that's one part that you got a lot of feedbacks, good, and some that to say, yeah, we need to work better. That we know. I appreciate the commenting question. Yeah, so I don't think there is any other question. Again, feel free to use Tago, make your comments, contact us if you need something. We have a lot of videos on your YouTube channel on Tago. We have new webinars coming. This is the basic one you call 101. Then you have very specific trainings. For example, next week, we're going to have the webinar about the blueprint. So the blueprint is great to scale. You just build one dashboard, and then you can have hundreds or thousands of users going to the same dashboard, same template, let's say, but not necessarily the same information side. So it's a very good way to scale application. Okay. So if there is additional question, we'll be glad to get your questions here. Shoot us an email, and then you go and work on one-to-one. That's it. Thiago, anything else?
I think I'm good on my side, Fabio.
All right, perfect. So thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.